Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to complete your Planet Money podcast assignments. So let me get into a module that has a Planet Money podcast assignment. So let's go into module 1 actually. So here we have the first one, the econ, or episode 485, what's your major? This is one about it's about the economic outlook for different college majors. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do to when you're completing these assignments is to listen to the podcast itself. So you have a link here that's going to take you to Planet Money's website. You can also enter episode 45, what's your major, into iOS podcasts or however you're listening to your podcast. They're typically around 15 to 25 minutes long, and you can press play and listen to them right here. This will give you a transcript if you prefer to read things instead of listening to them. These podcasts are interesting. So I always the feedback I always get from my students is that they like this part of the course in general. So hopefully you're not going this with too much apprehension. Planet Money, this is National Public Radio economic series, and they're well made episodes and they're interesting topics. Okay, and so I always give you your questions directly here in the assignment. Your Planet Money podcasts are all or nothing assignments. Either you get a full credit for participating in the assignments, or you get no credit for not doing it. Okay, it's really obvious to me when someone is faking their answers, and so that's all I do is I just look through real quickly, check to see if your answers are faked. So if you go through and you forgot an answer to one question, you're not really sure, don't worry about it. All you're doing here is proving to me that you listened to it. So if you know 4 out of 5 of these, you're going to be fine. Okay, so just listen to it. It's that simple. Listen to it. You're going to find you'll get full credit every time. Okay, so I want to show you how to submit your answers. So here are the questions. Okay, you can if you want to have this open as you're listening to the podcast, you can write down the answers and things like that. Great. However you want to do it, these are the questions. And then when you're ready to provide your answers, you click submit assignment. In fact, you can copy and paste these into the here if you want to. And then this is your text entry page. I do not need the answers posted, the questions reposted here. That is unnecessary. You don't need to do that. You can just give me the answers. So for example, what's the highest earning undergraduate major with a median earning of $120,000 a year? Give you a second to guess. The answer is petroleum engineering. So if you just write 1, petroleum engineering, you're done. And then question 2, and write your answer. Question 3, write your answer. That's it. That's all I need from you. Click submit and you are done. You're going to get full credit as long as you listen to it and you've done all of the questions sort of reveal to me that you listened to it. Okay, so that's the first part of your Planet Money assignments. Is there's always a worksheet to start out, and you got to do the worksheet first. Okay, the next part is going to be the discussion, and you cannot get points for the discussion if you've not already submitted a worksheet. Okay, so if I get a discussion and I look and there was no worksheet that was turned in, I will give you a 0. Okay, you got to do it first because we're discussing the podcast. So you need to prove to me you listened to the podcast instead of just sort of making up answers. Okay, so I'm going to click the Planet Money discussion. You should have a discussion group because I'm in student view, and so I'm in here as test student. I don't have a discussion group, so that's why it looks like this. So you'll go through, it always reminds you of the rules and it reminds you of the due dates, and then you have discussion prompts at the bottom. You don't need to respond to both of these. You can if you have something interesting to say about both of them. So respond to one or both. Excuse me. And so once you've decided what you want to respond to, just click reply and write your answer right there and submit. Okay, to get full credit for a discussion board, you need to respond to one or both of my prompts, and then you need to reply to at least 2 of your classmates. Okay, there is no set length requirement. As long as you're having the discussions, will be fine. If I find that you're just putting 2 or 3 word responses, 1 sentence responses in everything you do, I'll reach out to you and say, hey, come on, let's the spirit of this is discussion. You need to give me more than that. Okay, but all I'm looking for is at least 3 posts, right? A response to the prompt and then 2 responses to your classmates. You're always gonna have two due dates listed in the podcast in the discussion. This is the actual firm due date. So this first one's a little more of a soft due date. The reason I put that one in there is, if you are someone who waits to the last minute, know that not everyone responds that way. So there will be some people who are wanting to do their discussion on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even though it's due on Sunday. They need someone to respond to, and so that's why I put the Friday due date as you need to do the original response to my prompt by Friday, and then you have until Sunday to come back and respond to your classmates. Okay, so I want you to operate with the Friday deadline as being an actual deadline for each of these discussions. And if I find you're consistently posting on Sunday night, and so your classmates never have an opportunity to respond to you, I'll reach out with you and warn you and say, hey, come on, you gotta get with the program, you gotta do it better. And then if you continue not to, then you'll start losing points for missing the deadlines, because this is a deadline, even though according to Canvas, the Sunday is the deadline. Okay, so I think that's it. If you have any questions about this, please post them in the general course questions discussion forum, or email them to me.